Now we're on step 4, when we take major and perfect intervals and we change the size. So a general rule is a major interval, if you make it larger, a half step larger, it becomes augmented, which can be letter A or a plus sign. If you make it a half step smaller, it becomes minor. You make it another half step smaller, it becomes diminished, which we show with a degree symbol, 75 degrees, for example. Degree means diminished, or sometimes lowercase d. So major, if you make it larger, becomes augmented. If you make it a half step smaller, it becomes minor. If you make it another half step smaller, it becomes diminished. And a perfect interval, if you make it a half step larger, it becomes augmented, which can be an A or a plus. I usually use a plus. If you make it a half step smaller, it doesn't become minor. There's no such thing as a minor fifth, for example. The next smaller size is diminished, which can be a degree symbol or the lowercase d. Okay, so major and minor are a pair, and a half step larger than major is augmented, a half step smaller than minor is diminished. And from perfect, if you go larger, it's augmented, and if you go smaller, it's diminished. So, if I ask you to identify this pitch, step number 1, what's the quantity? So we count F, G, A, B, C. This is a fifth. Now we want to think of the key signature of the bottom note, which is F. F has a B flat in the key signature. So if this were F to C natural, that would be a perfect fifth because C is the fifth note of the F scale. What we have instead is an interval that's a half step larger. We've gone from F up to C, and then we've moved the C a half step larger, so it's now a C sharp. And if we take a perfect interval and we make it a half step larger, it becomes augmented. So F to C sharp is an augmented fifth. Again, if we just explore this on F, F to C would be a perfect fifth because C is the fifth note of the F scale. C is in the key signature of F. F to C sharp, we make the interval larger, becomes augmented fifth. If we made the interval F to C flat, we brought the C closer to the F, and now we've taken our perfect interval and made it a half step smaller. This is now a diminished fifth. Let's try this with a fourth. And let's do the key of G major. Let's do it on G. Okay, so the key signature of G would be F sharp. So the scale would go G, A, B, C. This is the fourth note of the G scale. This is a perfect fifth. If I asked for an augmented fifth, you would start with your perfect fifth, fourth. Start with your perfect fourth and raise the top note a half step. Likewise, if I ask for a diminished fourth above G, G to C would be a perfect fourth. We need to make the interval a half step smaller, and there's a diminished fourth. Let's talk about thirds, sixths, seconds, and sevenths. Okay, so if I were on F and I asked for a major third, you count F, G, A, so we give you a third. Think of the key signature of the bottom note. And for F, the key signature is B flat. So A is a note in the F scale, therefore this is a major third. If I had asked for a minor third above F, we would count up 3, F, G, A. Look at what we have. This right now is a major third. We'd need to make the top note a half step closer to the bottom note to make it a minor third. If I had F to A sharp, you could think that F to A is a major third because A is the third note of the F scale. By adding a sharp, it becomes a half step larger. Therefore, this is an augmented third. And again, looking up here, major, if you make it larger, becomes augmented. If you make it smaller, it becomes minor. Let's try this with a minor seventh. And I'm going to do this above C. So I'm asking you for a minor seventh above C. First step, count up 7 pitches in the scale. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Then think of the key signature of C major, which is no sharps, no flats. Therefore, right now, this is a major 7 because this is the 7th note of the C major scale. We want to make it a minor 7th, so we need to decrease the size of the interval by a half step, and we're going to do that by lowering the top note. So a minor 7th above C is B flat. This now allows you to construct major, minor, perfect, diminished, and augmented intervals above any pitch. Let's quickly walk through each of these. Let's do a major second, a minor third, a perfect fourth, an augmented fifth, diminished fifth, and an augmented sixth. So let's start on C. A major second above C, we count C to D. Think of the key signature of C major and ask yourself, is this note from the key of C? And the answer is yes. So that is a major second. Now let's go on the D and let's get a minor third. So if we want to count up 3 from D, we go D, E, F. Okay. Now the key signature of D is F sharp and C sharp. Therefore, D to F sharp would be a major third. Right now, this is a half step smaller than a major third because this is not an F sharp, this is an F natural. Therefore, this is already a minor third. D to F sharp would be a major third because F sharp is the third note of the D major scale. Let's take this F, I'm going to drop it down an octave, and we're going to do a perfect fourth. Okay, so F, we count up 4, G, A, B. To get a perfect fourth, we need the fourth note of the F major scale. Key signature of F major is B flat, E flat, just B flat, and therefore F to B flat is the perfect fourth. Let's take this B flat, and now we're going to do a diminished fifth above the B flat. Okay, so we count up 5, B, C, D, E, F, so that's the fifth. Now, think of the key signature of B flat. It's B flat, E flat. F is the fifth note of the B flat major scale. Therefore, right now, from B flat to F, this is a perfect fifth. We need to make it a diminished fifth, and the way you make perfect diminished is you make it a half step smaller. Therefore, we need to lower the top note by a half step, and there's our diminished fifth. Let's take B flat again, and let's go an augmented sixth above B flat. So B flat, we'll count up 6, B flat, C, D, E, F, G. Think of the key signature of B flat, which is B flat, E flat. This right now is a major sixth, because this is the sixth note of the B flat scale. To make major into augmented, you increase the size of the interval by a half step, and therefore, for this to be augmented, we have to raise the top note. So B flat to G sharp would be an augmented 6. This is basically covers the full explanation of how to generate and construct any major, minor, perfect, augmented, and diminished intervals. I'll make one more video to summarize this very concisely and post it at the bottom of this page.